Ladies and gentlemen, your OG and your Nigma. Come up, please. First off, Miracle, your voice is beautiful.
No, man, it's not.
I mean,
but I appreciate it. Thank you.
I hope we hear more next time, next year. You know, next finals, I hope we get to hear another bit of a sing-song from you. Sort of see this, to see what your opponents were doing during the grand finals. I mean, Johan, how does it feel to be able to sit back and sort of reflect on what you guys went through, but at the same time, see how Nigma reacted to you guys in the booth?
I mean, obviously, I don't know if this is correctly put on. Am I on? Okay, I'm working. Good. Yeah, it was a beautiful piece in my mind. I think there's a good reason why both these teams were in the finals. For me, the words that really wrong with me is like believing in me, you know, faith. This team, you see the unity. Kuro also mentioned it. Yeah, beautiful thing to watch. It's very revealing to probably why these two teams. Why these two teams are in the finals, right? But yeah, loved it. Very emotional roller coaster.
Kuro, did you guys feel kind of like you would have this similar type of mentality going into all of it after watching? I mean, you get to see that you guys did have that similar, like, you know, unity, keeping it positive, trying to do all that kind of thing. Did you think it would be like that on both sides?
There's definitely a part of that. For us, it was just like, oh shit, we're in the finals. You know, we just beat LGD, and it was a crazy series. And I think we were just very happy we got the chance to play against OG and just tried our best.
And also, I think it was very interesting, Kuro, obviously at the beginning of it all, when you guys won game one. You know, you were all popping off, you were going crazy, but it was very important to you, wasn't it, Kuro, to sort of be able to reset the team, because I guess you've been in many situations before where you've won the first game, it's been back and forth, but for you, is it just much more important to sort of look back at what the mistakes were that the team made were, rather than sort of just thinking ahead, we won, we're amazing, this is going to be easy?
We definitely believe in riding our positive emotions into the next game, but at the same time, you gotta just stay grounded. Otherwise, things can go wrong really fast. And at the same time, the statement we saw in the True side, it was connected to, like, our communication was more stressed than usual, and we all felt it. And that is connected to us just being exhausted from the whole run of TI. And we all felt it, and we were like, oh, what's going on? Like, the game is kind of easy, and it should go this way. But yeah, so we just want to reset and focus on the next game.
I mean, and at the start of the game, obviously, Maroon, you guys were all in the booth. You had this excellent sort of approach with getting the spirits up. Was there some more emphasis on that because it was the TI finals, or is that sort of the standard start of a series for Team Liquid back during TI?
Well, so we have this guy on the end, I think. He's really loud, he's really fun, he has a huge amount of energy. So we kind of feed off his energy, and we try to give him as much energy as possible. So we lift each other up, and we just start the game and start the series with a lot of positivity, so we start on a good note.
And we are, obviously, you've been, as we saw in the film, you've been in this position before, being in the grand finals, obviously different team this time. How was it sort of different, sort of going in? Was it a very similar sort of vibe, or did the way that Team Liquid approached the start of the series feel quite different to what you experienced before?
It was similar in terms of, I get to play the first game, like TI6 it was Sky, and this TI was Meepo, just like my favorite heroes. And I just went downhill from there, that's true.
So Jarex in particular, I did want to ask, you know, how did this one feel different for you guys, at least? Because, you know, the other one was your first time win. This is the second time. Was there a big difference? You know, were you still super hyped up, or?
Yeah, so I think what we understand from past is we kind of learned to own the place. So the booth is actually ours. And I think what we got the vibe that we really owned the place, as we have already been there, we have already won there. So it's just about repeating it again, I think.
Did you guys, another thing we did actually get to see in the video too is like a lot of common things at least being understood about the game. Did you guys expect something like that as well? It's like, oh, you know, Ember's going to be coming up, and it's like, oh man, Ember's pretty good here, you know? So did you guys feel like you guys would have at least expected both of you to have those similarities as well?
Yeah, so I think both teams were kind of predictable coming to this finals. I think we both figured out that what of each team really want to execute. As TI meta is kind of playing on your comfort. And well, we prepared for the Tidehunter Tide pretty well ourselves, but they were also very keen on banning the heroes that we really wanted to play, like the IO. I think Ember was a huge thing also.
The Tide MSC, it looked like overall a very sort of emotional series for you as a player. A lot of the times we obviously had these camera shots of you sort of just sat back and sort of like, where was your head at the moment during that series? Why was that so different to sort of all the other victories that you've been through on the way to the finals?
So I think I got a lot of confidence before the final because we won like all the games with Tidehunter. So even after game 2, I still felt like playing the hero because I just had this confidence that I would never lose with this hero.
I mean, Seb, we obviously heard from you. Obviously, first of all, between you guys, there's obviously massive amounts of respect for one another, and that was obviously said by both of the captains going into that final series. But in the booth, Seb, you were sometimes a little more critical of some of the picks and such, and such things as the Tide TA. I just sort of wondered, why in your head did you feel that you had such a confident grasp of how to defeat the Tide TA? Why to you was it not anything scary at all?
I mean, there's like two things to it. First of all, like I do want to say that, you know, like X-Liquid and now Nigma, like they're probably the team that we respect the most, and that's not us like kind of sugarcoating it. It's truly a team that we've learned from, you know, that we've studied all the way back to, I don't know, like 2017, 2018. So we had to put them down, right? Like we had to be like, you know, they're not as good as we think they are. Even our coach, Sox, you know, that I'm giving a shout out to, like, he even saw that all the way through the season. He's like, guys, you know, I don't want to hear it anymore. Like how good they are or what they do and whatnot. You guys can be better. You guys are better. Anyway, so there's a little bit of that where, you know, you want to like, yeah, it's about getting your spirit up, right? And getting ready to go to battle. Because if you're going to go into that being like, oh, MC Tide is that good and, you know, we had TAs that, I mean, what's the point? You might as well just like, you know, just go home or watch the game perhaps. Anyway, so we just go into it, and these are heroes that we personally don't believe in as much, maybe because they don't fit us or whatever the reason is. So yeah, I mean, we're just confident, which is healthy, and I think it's healthy that they're confident with these heroes too, right? That's why you get a game. Else we'd just play on paper, you know, writing. Oh, you get the title, oh, good one, man. Like, go next, you know. That doesn't work either. No.
Yeah, I was like amazed actually to see like the respect and just the confidence from both sides, especially too. Like I know Saber after the first game, you're like, yeah, game's done, whatever, shake it off. Like we know we had that one, and then I see from you guys on Nigma, it was very similar thing. Like the four of you were very excited. Kuroki, of course, very much in his head thinking about the further thing. But for you, GH, how did it feel after like the first game? Were you guys like super confident going into the further ones, or still a little bit taken aback knowing that you have a hard challenge in front of you?
Well, going into the series, we knew what OG is about. So after the first game, we got the Meeple last pick, so we were extremely confident. The game went almost as expected, but we did some mistakes, so they got the game back, and then with the Throne Rush in the end, we got the game. We felt like we had a lot of mistakes, but we got the victory, which matters in the end. So we had just to figure out how to fix the mistakes for the future games. I felt really good in the first game and going into the next games, but I mean, there was something about these guys, they just changed it completely. Like they went from playing for the late game to just running at you. That's what we kept talking about, how they're monkeys.
And so, whilst we're on the topic of the first game, as I said, there's obviously a lot of respect between you guys, and there is something that we can actually show you all. Of course, earlier today, we had both of the teams get together and watch a screening of True Sight in private, and we filmed all of their reactions. So we have a little teaser to show you right now. The rest of it, the entire video, will be uploaded tomorrow. So tomorrow, you'll be able to watch through the whole thing again alongside OG and Team Nigma. But going back to, so this clip is going to be from game 1. And it's a bit of a build-up to the Roche fight where things started to take a bit of a turn back in OG's favor. So it's very interesting to see, just have a look at how the players sort of react to seeing what occurred.
Am I gonna...
I'm gonna buy back now. No, I'm gonna run
Grab me
this.
still on mind
No.
control, mind control.
No! No!
What you doing?
Why? Why?
Mind control. There's no follow-up. They've got it. And look at the goal difference.
Encapsulates the finals.
I mean, isn't that just great to see? Seeing the players react like that. I mean, because mind control, as I say, I feel like I speak for a lot of us that when we were watching that, you know, our hearts were hurting for you. You know, we really sort of felt the pain that you were sort of going through in these games where you had such a tough time. But now, sort of looking back on it, you're just able to sort of see it in a more positive light, and it was something that were you quickly able to move on, or did it sort of hang over your head for quite a while after TI?
I mean, first when I saw this, I actually didn't remember that I did it. That was my first thoughts, and then I just realized how stupid the play it was.
Because I mean, again, Nigma, that was as a team, that was something that, like you talked about, Courage, the first game. I think your precise words were "shut the fuck up" as you talked to the rest of your teammates. I mean, that game one, and even in some of the other games down the line, there was definitely sort of these calls being made from all across the team. Is that sort of standard practice in Nigma, or did it just fall apart much more compared to the sort of the usual game for Nigma?
It's definitely not our standard. I think it took a toll on us throughout the rest of the series. It's interesting because they did show how Seb started talking about like how we gave them a chance and it shouldn't go this way. He used it in a way to motivate his team. And like I said, I don't want to like over talk it, but we were very exhausted going into the finals. I reflected on that so many nights. Like, am I really bitter? I was like, is this like a loser talk? You know, like being tired. There's no excuse, but life is not a movie, and this is a reality. We played one series before. Playing against OG, it's like I need to prepare. Like,
No! No!
What you doing?
Why? Why?
Mind control. There's no follow-up. They've got it. And look at the goal difference.
Encapsulates the finals.
I mean, isn't that just great to see? Seeing the players react like that. I mean, because mind control, as I say, I feel like I speak for a lot of us that when we were watching that, you know, our hearts were hurting for you. You know, we really sort of felt the pain that you were sort of going through in these games where you had such a tough time. But now, sort of looking back on it, you're just able to sort of see it in a more positive light, and it was something that were you quickly able to move on, or did it sort of hang over your head for quite a while after TI?
I mean, first when I saw this, I actually didn't remember that I did it. That was my first thoughts, and then I just realized how stupid the play it was.
Because I mean, again, Nigma, that was as a team, that was something that, like you talked about, Courage, the first game. I think your precise words were "shut the fuck up" as you talked to the rest of your teammates. I mean, that game one, and even in some of the other games down the line, there was definitely sort of these calls being made from all across the team. Is that sort of standard practice in Nigma, or did it just fall apart much more compared to the sort of the usual game for Nigma?
It's definitely not our standard. I think it took a toll on us throughout the rest of the series. It's interesting because they did show how Seb started talking about like how we gave them a chance and it shouldn't go this way. He used it in a way to motivate his team. And like I said, I don't want to like over talk it, but we were very exhausted going into the finals. I reflected on that so many nights. Like, am I really bitter? I was like, is this like a loser talk? You know, like being tired. There's no excuse, but life is not a movie, and this is a reality. We played one series before. Playing against OG, it's like I need to prepare like 12 hours at least and have like a sheet ready. Instead, I had like, all right, like get the mics ready, true side boys, and like, oh, 5 minutes, okay, give me the sheets. And so, but luckily we're like comfortable playing against them because we know the guys very well. But once again, if we had the chance to play them properly, they might have just won anyway. But I think we could have given them and the audience like much better games.
So on the other side, Johan, you guys, how do you feel going into that last series, of course, being able to watch them? Do you think it was massively beneficial to you guys, of course, being like more rested and also just getting to see them play right before that?
Obviously, it's a benefit. It's a huge benefit to be in the winner bracket in general. You feel, I mean, you can always take, you can always try and take benefits, but like Kuro says, life is not a movie. You can get tired. I think on the last day, it was a big win for us that it played out the way it did. The thing that we were just worried about, I mean, we don't think about all the good things that can happen. We think about all the bad things that can happen. And one thing is that we respected them maybe too much. So we were, I think deep down, a lot of us were kind of hoping to play LGD again. We felt like we would also accept that challenge very much. But deep down, we also wanted to play these guys because we're so close. And it was the best finals that could have been. We wanted this TI7 as well. And probably before that, wanted to go to TI5 together, but that didn't happen. It's okay, it's okay.
And Topson, we've got to talk to Topson. Can we just have a round? Topson, 100% TI win rate here on this man. Woo! Topson, in that series, obviously we got to see a lot of sort of show-stopping moves from you. I mean, what was it about that series that allowed you to play as confident as you did? Was it sort of the teammates, or did you yourself identify that Nigma were sort of struggling mentally in some of the later games that series?
I mean, I think we as a team, we built a lot of confidence during the tournament. Like, I mean, our boot camp wasn't the best, and but anyways, we went in the tournament, like, we reset, we just started fresh, and, you know, we got some good wins in the start, and everybody started feeling better and better, and yeah, it's just builds up during the tournament. Win after win, you're like, okay, like, you're feeling better and better, and when you get the main stage, it's like, you remember, like, DI8, like, it's like home again, you're like, oh, it feels good to be here again, so you're like, damn, can't wait to play, and then, like, finals playing against Liquid, it's like, you know, we play these guys like all the time, scrims and other qualifiers and everything, and it's like the best team to play against in the finals because it's like we know them really well, they know us really well, so we know how to beat them. So it's good to play against them.
A miracle.
Yes.
I've got to ask you. You know,
I'm not sure if that works, though.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Oh, we can hear you. We can hear you. We're good. In that series, you're sort of the way that you kept your team afloat with sort of the positivity was, you know, pretty inspiring in the booth. The way that you sort of kept spirits lifted, even at the end when you'd lost, you know, bringing a bit of humour to conversation, saying, you know, what's next? Well, we better go get some food. What sort of gets you down when it comes to playing Dota 2 in those sort of series? In that finals, if you're not breaking there, do you ever sort of break, or is it very easy for you to keep a positive mindset when playing?
To be fair, I think most tournaments, every tournament pretty much, not just TI, if you make your team think that you're like losing it mentally, like the way you're acting and stuff, like it could also bring them down too, right? Because it's a team game after all. So if you're feeling down, your team is also going to feel down. But if you're always positive about how things are, your team is also going to be a bit more positive if they're down, you know? So it's like, for me, I'm trying to at least to always be positive. So it keeps morale more up. Yeah.
So I know we keep bringing up the positivity thing. Like Johan and Kuro, I think this is kind of a jointed question, I guess, for the both of you. Was that something that came from like the two of you playing together, especially like you said for the TI5 run and everything? You have so much respect for each other. Was that something that you guys were very critical about keeping when you were making your teams?
I think any winning team is going to be positive, or like any team that's going to win a lot.
I'm not sure, man.
You don't think so? No?
Well, I mean, I think Johan does happen to be a genius at being a team builder and understanding how to lead a team. It's one of the main things I respect about his abilities to play Dota. I think I learned from you, if anything. And yeah, so I think so we figured out all right, like these things are important to lead a team, positivity and what's around it. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think all of us here, we also just want to have fun. And you know, when you play these toxic pubs, and it's not fun.
I mean, and Seb, on sort of the topic of fun, it looked like it's sort of especially the way that you were able to swing things round after game one with Anna, of course, who unfortunately isn't here with us tonight, but can we get a round of applause for Anna?
Yeah. The
way that you dealt with Anna, obviously after that first game where you guys had this very rough sort of a defense, and the way you were very quick to approach him and realize that, you know, this is where you've got to step in and sort of be the man to have that the shoulder there for Anna to sort of just lean against and talk to. Did you just know straight away, sort of as that game was ending, that is exactly what you had to do as soon as you got out of the booth?
Yeah, I mean, we're honestly, like, in this team, we're literally brothers. Like, I feel like competitively, at least, I know them as much as I know my own brother, and it's the same. So I don't know his tone, his look. You can tell exactly what's going on if he's lacking a little bit of confidence, or he's feeling down, or sometimes it'd be the opposite, right? Somebody would be like good enough, or maybe he'd be too high, up on energy and whatnot. And no, I mean, after that game, he felt like he let us down. That's how I felt. That's how we all felt, I'm sure. Like that he kind of owed us or something. And the only message that we wanted to get across is like, hey man, like we just want to play with him. You know, we just want to, whether we're gonna win with him or lose with him, it doesn't matter. We just don't want to, would even not want to win without him. You know, we'd rather lose with him. We just want him to be himself. And I mean, he didn't want to buy back. He didn't want to buy back. That's it. You know what I mean? Like we were meant to lose this game, but we just needed him for the next games. And look what he did, right? That's Anna in a nutshell. Is like he's gonna do this one mistake, and next thing you know, he's playing Ember and he's just styling on everybody, you know. And would we be against him? He'd win the game 1 versus 9. That's how I feel. You know how much he can do with this game. So, no, I mean, I'm you know, obviously, we're all wish that he'd be here tonight. But yeah, big shout out to Anna. I mean, he's like one of the best players that ever touched that game. That's how I feel. And yeah.
So, Seb, So Seb brings up like all family, like everybody playing with each other. How did it feel playing with these guys? You know, because they've been together for quite a long time. You're jumping in, and now you're playing, you know, up here at the grand finals. How was it in comparison, I guess, to the last time you did, and how did you enjoy playing with these guys?
Feels like I got adopted into a family. Pretty much, it's been trying to adapt, and they've been trying to fit me in at the same time. And I'm just glad to be part of it. That's pretty much it.
Well, just sorry to interject, as a reminder, we are going to be starting to take some questions from the crowd. So if you do want to start queuing up on the side, this is the time to sort of get over there and get ready and get your brains to thinking of some great questions to ask. And we'll be pulling from you guys very, very, very shortly.
After الفانز لما يسألوا بعديها خلاص.
So, Jarex, did you enjoy watching all that though? You know, your performances in particular. I'm going to start bringing a couple more about specific heroes. You know, this Tiny. We saw you play it over and over and over again, and we did see in comparison, you guys on Nigma were mentioning you don't really play the 4-position Tiny. It's kind of going to go back and forth here. Did you feel that one was so crucial and instrumental to you guys, of course, winning the finals here?
I wouldn't say so as much. I think there was a lot of heroes I didn't actually show at TI that we practiced a lot. It just happened to be that it's very comfortable also for Topias. And I think we managed to create like a drafting problem for most teams that we pick heroes that fit multiple roles. And there was like the one game where they were trying to guess the lanes, but I mean, you can't guess the lanes. You're just dealing with, you're basically blindfolded what you're facing. And we take it advantage over the pick. And we have multiple picks like this, I feel. And I feel it made it easy, I would say.
And sort of obviously back to you guys, Nigma, with regards to the Tiny. You know, as we heard Kuro say in the film, it was something that he felt that you guys as a team didn't play. I mean, but you guys can play Tiny, or is it just that you didn't feel ready as a team to sort of take it out in the grand finals out of nowhere? You didn't have that amount of confidence on the hero?
I mean, it wasn't shown in the movie, but I asked Maroon like, so like, wanna play Tiny? It's like, no, Kuro.
A lot of these heroes take a lot of confidence, and sometimes in the tournaments you don't feel the hero, so it makes it really hard to play it. Because if you don't feel confident playing the hero, you're not gonna perform on it.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt in the exact moment. That I felt that if I would play it, and I haven't played it in a while, even though I know that I can play it decently, I'd say, I would say that I wouldn't play it to the level of the other heroes that would play.
Sort of on the sort of topic of confidence, would you say the same? We are obviously looking back. You played a lot of the TA. Is that something that you sort of say, I wish I had done something else, or were you sort of happy that in the moment you still went with the hero that you were most confident on? Because that definitely seemed to be the case. You know, each draft it was very much, you know, you and Kuro sort of back and forthing about what was available, and you wanted that TA because it's one of your strongest heroes.
Well, we did win with the hero a lot up until this point. I don't regret picking this hero. I think we could have done better on these games, and I'm happy it went the way it did because now I can play something else. You know. Yeah.
So, Johan, how do you bring this energy? Like I watch them, you know, I watch Nigma going in the booths and stuff. You guys had this amount of energy, but you somehow, like, you were just yelling and screaming every single time, walking up. You're like, who's walking with me? Getting in the stage, you're just banging, getting everything going. Like, how do you do this after, you know, such a long tournament that really was?
Yeah, I mean, one thing is, of course, good rest and good mindset helps. I honestly, I couldn't really tell you. I felt like an animal for that entire TI. Like
a monkey, to be specific.
Yeah. Different kinds, I think, different days. But yeah, I felt fired up. Like it was wild, and it's also the team that we had a really rough boot camp, and I also think we bounced back 150% kind of from being in a slump and being rough games and stuff. And then as soon as we started winning, it was infinite power.
We're looking at the
Nigma, as a team, before you sort of go, Kuro, any sort of final words that you'd maybe want to say to OG, or in just terms of how you sort of feel the sort of upcoming remainder of the season is going to look for you guys? I know you, in the film, you had a lot of connections to sort of spirituality and stuff. I just wondered how that's sort of driving you forward for the rest of this Dota Pro circuit.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank everyone here for coming, and I want to thank Valve for making this masterpiece. And for the next season, we'll just try our best like we always do. It's an endless grind. For OG, I hope they'll just create a new team. To be honest, it doesn't feel quite the same. I'm really mad at these two guys.
What did you point?
But I understand where they're coming from, since I've been playing for a very long time myself, and all the respect to them. And one more shout out to Jerix and Sepp especially, please, and Arno, who's not here. Personally, I always wish Johan the best with whatever he does, and Thompson is, I think he very well deserves the MVP of the year. Like an amazing player to play against. It's my honor, it's our honor, and we're gonna beat them.
Well, as mentioned before, it really has been an absolute honor for you, Team Nigma, to come here as, of course, not the losers, but I'd say so the second place winners, wouldn't you agree, really, of that TI? You know,
Yeah.
we don't do losers here. But again, for you to come up and be able to talk to us, and a reminder for everyone as well, you will get to see Team Nigma's reaction to the entire film in the video that will be uploaded tomorrow. But one more time, ladies and gentlemen, Nigma, we've kept you here long enough. You guys, you can have a break now. It's Team Nigma, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one here.
Yeah, a little bit more.